In consideration of the emergence and international spread of diseases and other health threats, the World Health Assembly called for substantial revision. The revised regulations were adopted in 2005 and entered into force on 15 June 2007. The revision extended the scope to all public health risks, biological, chemical, or radiological in origin, that might affect human health. Some of the main public health events reported from 1980 to 2017 are reported on this slide, those of zoonotic nature being highlighted. The IHR therefore should not be seen as restricted to solely the human health sector, but rather call for transsectoral implementation in which the veterinary services play a crucial role. Democratically adopted by all member states of WHO, the IHR have a legal basis and commit countries to follow the same rules to secure global health. Through 66 articles and 9 annexes, the IHR document specifies the roles, responsibilities, and core capacities for state parties and WHO. The stated purpose of the IHR is to prevent, protect against, control, and provide a public health response to the international spread of disease in ways that are commensurate with and restricted to public health risks, and which avoid unnecessary interference with international traffic and trade. In particular, all IHR state parties have committed to have in place or to develop minimum core public health capacities to detect, assess, notify, report to WHO, and respond to events that may constitute what is called a public health emergency of international concern. The IHR are accompanied by a series of tools that constitute what is referred to as the IHR Monitoring and Evaluation Framework, or IHR-MEF. The IHR Monitoring and Evaluation Framework is made up of 4 main components. The self-assessment and annual reporting component, where the country does a self-evaluation of its IHR capacities and sends the results every year to WHO. The Joint External Evaluation, or JEE, during which a team of external experts and country nationals do an evaluation of the country's capacities. An after-action review, where, following a recent outbreak in the country, a workshop is organized to analyze how the response was organized and to find ways of improvement. And simulation exercises, where a fake scenario is used to test the country's capacities and level of preparedness to emergencies. Together, these 4 components form the IHR Monitoring and Evaluation Framework. It must be noted that only the first component, the self-assessment and annual reporting, is mandatory for countries, whereas the 3 others are optional and are only conducted following the country's request to WHO. Let us now go in details through each of the 4 components, starting with the self-assessment and annual reporting. Every year, countries are asked to conduct a self-assessment of their capacities for the critical functions required by the IHR. More precisely, the evaluation focuses on the following core capacities: national legislation, policy and financing, coordination and NFP communications, surveillance, preparedness, response, risk communication, human resource capacity, and laboratory. The assessment also reviews specific capacities requested by the IHR at points of entry, meaning the ports, airports, and ground crossing points. Finally, capacities relative to 4 specific hazards are also assessed: zoonotic diseases, food safety, chemical emergencies, and radiological emergencies. Each core capacity may be depicted through 1 to 4 indicators, as illustrated here with the first indicator for the section on zoonotic events. Each indicator is then further described using a set of attributes in relation to the level of advancement. A questionnaire has been developed by WHO and is available on a web interface. Some of the questions associated with zoonotic events are shown here. Completion of the questionnaire is usually carried out by the designated national IHR focal point in consultation with the subject area national experts in the country. Inputs from professionals from all sectors involved in the IHR, including representatives from animal health, food and water safety, radiological, nuclear, and chemical disciplines, are needed for this self-evaluation. Countries are then asked to share the results of their self-assessments with WHO every year. Data from all countries are compiled and presented by the IHR Secretariat at the World Health Assembly. Results are also used to develop country and regional profiles, which facilitate planning and mobilization of resources. And annual results can be found on the WHO Global Health Observatory under the link indicated here. The second component of the IHR Monitoring and Evaluation Framework is the Joint External Evaluation, or JEE. The JEE allows countries to identify the most urgent needs within their health security system, to prioritize opportunities for enhanced preparedness, detection, and response capacity, and to allocate resources based on the findings. This evaluation is conducted by external experts in collaboration with the national experts using a standard tool, the JEE tool. Unlike the first component previously described, the JEE is entirely optional. In the JEE tool, capacities to prevent, detect, and respond to health emergencies are assessed through 19 technical areas, such as legislation, zoonotic diseases, national laboratory system, or risk communication, to name a few. Each of these technical areas is composed of several indicators. The number of indicators in each technical area varies from 1 to 5, and the capacity for each indicator is assessed using a scale of 5 levels. In total, there are 48 indicators that are assessed throughout the 19 technical areas. The JEE process is as follows. First, the country makes a request to WHO for joint external evaluation. The country then does a first self-evaluation of its capacities using the JEE tool. The JEE team of 10 to 12 international experts then goes to the country for a 1-week mission. During this mission, the JEE team reviews and discusses with national experts on all 19 technical areas. Priority actions are identified for each technical areas, and all indicators are scored on a scale of 1 to 5. The final JEE reports are made public and available on the WHO website at the link shown here. The after-action review is another optional component of the IHR Monitoring and Evaluation Framework. It is normally organized after an outbreak has occurred in a country and is in the form of a national workshop where all sectors involved in the response are invited. The objective of the after-action review is to analyze and build on the lessons learned from this event to improve levels of preparedness to future events. The fourth and last components of the IHR Monitoring and Evaluation Framework are the simulation exercises. Also in the form of a national workshop involving all sectors involved in the response to outbreaks, these exercises use fake scenarios with different injects to push stakeholders into simulating how they would respond to this emergency and to test their coordination mechanisms as well as their contingency plans. So where does One Health fit in all of this? The results of One Health discussion and collaboration can and should feed into each of these elements, as well as in national action plans. All these tools combined will pave the way towards an increase in the core capacities required for compliance to the IHR.